purpose of this kayak lift design loader is that you never have to lift the weight of the actual kayak. These PVC pipes carry the weight of the kayak, and all you're doing is sliding it up. The ends of them are just, I don't know, I guess these are 30-degree bends. If you wanted less of a slope, you could use a shallower fitting here, or you could use a steeper one if you thought, you needed more room. Like if you didn't have a lot of room to park where you usually go or whatever, you could make these a little steeper, but then you have to lift more of the kayak. And the ends just slip over the regular Thule bars. But there's probably dozens of different ways you could make so that these attach. Then the pipes themselves, these are 1.5 inch. I have a 1.5 inch furring strip, just a regular old furring strip from Home Depot, slipped down the inside, and that makes them a lot stiffer. And then I put some foam in the end to keep water out, like rain and stuff like that, and I cap the bottom end. So these are very light, and it's a very inexpensive way to do it. Originally, I didn't have these on it. These are little shelves, but I realized that I always had to lift the kayak from the ground, kind of defeating the purpose. So I wanted a way to get the nose of the kayak up and the tail up, so that I was out of start, so I could just start sliding the boat. And so I put these shelves on it. These are brand new. Then you take the kayak. Now you only have to lift half the kayak at a time. Put half of it on there. Then you just have to lift the other half. Lifting half a kayak is always pretty easy. And there you go. Now it sits on your two ramps like that. Okay. And now the old way, before I put those on, I had to be down here and I had to lift it up. But here, the entire weight of the kayak is on here, and you're only lifting some small proportion of it, probably half of its weight, and you can just push it up. And there it is. And then these, of course, just fold up like this and come off, and you can, attach them on the roof. I cut mine 15 inches. 15 inches works for me, but depending on the width of your kayak. Depending on the width of your kayak, you could make it, longer or shorter if you had a little narrow kayak. We have a 2-person Grumman. And then I made this pattern. The pattern has the hinges on it so that this can swing. And you place that around here. You can see it's pretty messy because I made a lot of adjustments on it. But you can place it on this is 2 inch, and the 2 inch because the ramps for the kayak are 1.5 inches. So this now will slide over the top of that. So you mark your shelf like this. Probably should have taped it on. You can tell I'm not meticulous about accuracy. And then this goes down here. These two sides, the sides of the shelf are like half the width of the tube. Half the width of the tube. By the way, this is Schedule 40. I think it makes a difference in the thickness. You want to have a thicker one. I believe the Schedule 40 is the thicker one. But if somebody feels otherwise, this is why I should have taped it on. But mark this booger out. Like that. That's this cut here rests on the upright, and mark this out, make it straighter. Well, okay. Nice to put a little there. And work this out. Now, PVC is pretty strong, but I don't know how much, I'm going to be gentle with it when I place the kayak on this. This doesn't hold the kayak in transportation or anything like that. The only purpose is to get it up off the ground so you can push it up on the ramp. But it's possible that someone might want to put like a metal strap over here. Like in here you're going to have your pivot and all the weights on that. So maybe a metal washer could be glued on, or a metal strap could be put around like this. I don't know. It's an experiment so far. Seems to be working. I did the other one. It's holding it up fine, so that's probably strong enough. We will see. Oops. You have to have a blade short enough so that it fits inside here, and narrow enough so you can make all of your curves. That's your shelf. Now these, you have to heat this up and make these straight. So they say bend them straight. Just heat these up. Trim those up a little bit. Okay, here's your shelf. But you can kind of warm these up, because this has to fit over the 1.5-inch pipe. PVC is amazing. I think just about anything with it. Anything you can imagine has probably already been made with it. I used to build ice boats, and somebody sent me pictures of an ice boat they built entirely out of PVC. It's great for making boat cover supports, boat frameworks. I was thinking probably build a go-kart out of it, like a bird cage frame, but I wouldn't want to be responsible for it. Because it will break. It's not as strong as like steel. So you see how soft that is? So you can kind of flatten that out. Kind of flatten that out a bit. It's funny, it doesn't really take much. Like, this isn't burning my hands. I mean, I wouldn't want to hold on to it, but other side. You make anything out of it, and it's also cheap. It's very inexpensive stuff. So let it cool off a little bit, and that's good enough. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it so that if you might need to heat it up a little bit to get it over the ramp. Because this is 1.5-inch and this is 2-inch, it conveniently slips right over the top of it. So the point of this is, again, if you have the kayak on the ground and you want to use these ramps, it's very difficult to get underneath it. You have to lift it up. But with these, you can put the bow on and then lift the stern up. That's very easy. It's just half the weight. Now you can get underneath it, because now it's up here and you can get underneath it. Meanwhile, these fold up, so when you have these on the roof of your car, it's not a problem. It's not a big clunky thing. Kayak down is, it has the same advantage, having these shelves on the ramp. You're sliding down the ramp, but you don't want it to, crash into the ground. So you have these shelves to rest it on. Get started with this. And then sliding it down. Rest it on your shelves. And then you can go like this.